who is also her mentor. So she's a part of Team Dynamite. And so she's a lifetime 2-star diamond coach. And she's an ex-personal trainer, which excited me because, Sarah, we get all the time, we get people that are like, how do you connect with people who are actually like in that industry? How do you communicate with them? So we're really excited about that. She's a mom, and she said what I loved was she said she worked the business through all stages, like newborn stage. We have a lot of moms we have one that's pregnant right now with her first. So we're just really excited to hear from you. She's also married to a policeman. And so Sarah, take it away. Basically, I sent Sarah a bunch of questions. First, she's going to do a quick intro, her story with Beachbody. Then she's going to get into the questions that I asked, and then we'll just do a quick Q&A at the end. So the microphone is yours, Sarah.
Hi guys. I haven't hosted another team call in a long time, but so I'm Sarah Pollard. I am 35 and I have 2 kids. They are 6 and 7 right now. So I had 2 kids like back to back, really. And then after my second baby, I wasn't feeling like myself. So I actually had a cousin that was doing Beachbody. And so I'm like, okay, I need to do something. I was such a skeptic before. I would like make fun of her and was like, okay, stop posting all your stuff on social media because it's so annoying. But I finally gave in, and I'm like, I need to do something. I need to do something with my life. I need to like lose the extra weight. I wasn't overweight, but I just didn't feel like myself. I had the baby blues and I just needed something. So I finally gave in. I didn't care how much it cost. I didn't even ask. I'm just like, hand it over. What is it? Sign me up. And then like a week later, I'm like, you know what? I could totally do this as a business. Like, she didn't even have to ask me. I was one of those coaches who was just like, I want to be a coach. I'll do whatever you say, like whatever you want me to do. How do I do it? I'm all in. So I signed up to be a coach. And then basically she was a discount coach. So she didn't like train me or do anything, but I don't know if you guys know Sarah Try. Do you know who she is? Okay, so she was her coach. So Sarah Try kind of took me under her wing and mentored me and got me to 2-star. Well, I got myself to 2-star diamond, but she was my mentor. Then she quit, and we all, like, the whole team was just, broken up, whatever. So then I went under Angie, and now we're here. And in the midst of all of that, I got certified in IIN, which is a nutrition program. So I'm a certified holistic health coach. I got an offer. Somebody reached out to me that we knew and asked me if I wanted to be a personal trainer at this like boutique gym that was just being built. So I was a personal trainer for like 3 months. And then I'm like, I cannot do this. I was charging people $85 an hour to personal train with me. And while the money was so awesome, I had to make programs for individual people. I had to go and like, how we talk to people online, like chat people up and get to know them and connect with them. Well, I had to do that in person. And I am an introvert, so like going to talk to people was not my thing. I'd rather do it behind a computer. That's just me. So I'm like, this is so stupid. Why am I, doing all this work when Beachbody has all of that? And I can do that from home and not play like tag team with my husband with our kids. We never saw each other. So I'm like, I can't do this. I am going back to Beachbody. I never quit, but that's my story, and now I'm here. You want me to dig into the questions now? Yeah? Okay. All right. The first question that I got was, how many hours a week do I work on the business when I was just starting? So I started when I had a 3-month-old and a newly 2-year-old. So I wasn't sleeping during the night. I was home all day, stay-at-home mom. Like everything was crazy. So basically, when I was in that situation, I was just focusing on the main things: posting in my challenge group, inviting people, and connecting with people. And that's all I did. I would just wait for the pockets of time when one kid napped and one kid was entertained with something. And then I just hurry up and do like, oh, let me like a couple posts on Instagram. So I would just do things in the pocket of time. As the kids got a little bit older, they still weren't in preschool, but I was now a diamond coach, I would add a little bit more to my plate. So like adding a team call for my team, like on a night where my husband was home, or, just adding something else to my list to help get me further and further into rank advancing or growing my business. Right now, both my kids are in school all day. This is the second year that this has happened. And last year, when my kids were in school full time for the first year, I decided to go get personal training certified. And so this is like the first year that I'm able to commit fully to my business full time. I don't work the business 8 hours a day. I probably work it like 4 hours a day in like 2-hour chunks. I try not to overwhelm myself with it but I do try to get a lot done when my kids are in school. So when they come back, it's just us. Like I can focus on them. I'm not looking at my phone all the time. And it just creates tension between the family when you bring your work in it, you guys get that? Yeah. So I don't spend 8 hours a day on it, but I'll probably get into this later for another question. So let me go to the next question, which is, how do I get my new coaches started? Basically, I didn't recreate the wheel or anything. What I did was I made a Facebook group, and you can make a Facebook group like a learning, it's like a learning thing, and you make the little posts and units so people can go in and they can watch the video, comment on the post, and then it like checks it off for them. So what I did was I took all the posts from the new coach training in the coach office and I made it into units so they can go in there and I can see where they're at, if they finished, and when they do finish, that's when we meet back up again and I start mentoring them on how to grow their business and how to make an income. Does anyone have any questions yet? We good?
Sarah, just real quick. So I know you mentioned you're like, I've been sort of lucky. Like when my coaches join, they want to work the business. And so do you just put them in that Facebook group and they do it? Or do you like have a lot of people sign up and that it's like a standstill, like they don't do that much and then you just don't do that mentorship call with them until they're finished with that? How do you go about like reaching out to that coach that maybe is struggling to get started because they think that they have to like know it all to get started? You know what I mean?
So I was the coach that was like all in. I probably have a lot of my coaches have dropped off. So like when I get somebody, now my view on things is, if you're going to sign up and you're going to do it. So if they're not going to do the work, then that's not the kind of coach I want. And these coaches that are going to be self-motivated and be another you, like you guys here on this team call right now, that's like 1 in a million. You gotta find, my thing is, you gotta find your 5. Like, all you need is 5 good coaches that are going to be exactly like you, who are going to put in the daily work, but you guys have to show them that you're doing it too. You got to show up here. You have to show up and do however you track your business, show them what you're doing, and they're going to follow. If they're not following you, then that's not the kind of coaches you want. They could be a discount coach, but you're not going to spend your time mentoring them. Yes, find your 5. How do I track my business and all my contacts? Well, I use Streak. Does anyone use Streak? No? Yeah. I like it because I can send mass emails. So I always get people's emails when I'm inviting them, or they fill out the link in my bio. But every time I get their email, I put it in there with their name. And then every month, I will send a mass mail merge with follow-up, and I'll send them an email. Hey, another group's coming out, and I'll invite them to my next group every single time. Streak was complicated for you. Yes. You got to get used to it. I watched a ton of YouTube videos on it and then kind of got comfortable of doing my own thing with it. I guess you just got to know the ins and outs a little bit. You don't have to dig deep into it, but just get comfortable with it so you can start using it, because it's really, really helpful.
Sarah, you made a good point though with, and sorry to interrupt, like, because I haven't been able to do Google Streak either. Like, it's just too much for my life right now. Like, I can't get it. But you made a good point though with, like, any new emails you get, just know, Nicole, like, you can make it super simple. Like, I started using, and it was Michelle that told me about this, I started using MailChimp. And I didn't even think of that, Sarah, that you can, like, invite them to every single challenge that you run. Like, who cares? So they ignore the email, but you never know, there might be that 1 month where they're like, you know what? I'm on board now.
Yep.
And so I guess, okay, so that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And seriously, I've had some person who was like, I've gotten all your emails and I'm ready now. And it was like a year. Like, I was sending her emails for a whole entire year. And then they're just ready. And you know what? I'll keep sending them emails forever until they say, can you please stop emailing me? And then I'll be like, sure. And then I'll get them off my list and they won't ever hear from me again unless they want to reach out to me. But don't take it personal.
How often are you sending out emails? Is it just like every time you do a group? Do you have like a monthly schedule? Like, what's your game plan for sending out emails? And you use Streak, but like, do you design like, you use a certain template to make your emails, or do you just send a blank, like, regular email? Like, what do you do for that?
So I'll send out a monthly email. So at the end of the month, like if I'm low on Success Club points, I'll send it out like the week before the month ends, a mass. I think I have like 200 emails in there of emails that I've collected over the year or whatever. And I will send one monthly email that's like, hey, how are you? I'll give them a piece of value, like a recipe or something. And then I'll say, hey, I am, having a new group that's starting next month. Is it your time yet? Do you want to join us? And so I'll send that once a month, the week before the month ends. And then, wait, what was your other question?
Do you use something for your template for your emails, or do you just send a regular old email?
So it's just a regular old email, nothing fancy, no templates, nothing. I just literally type it out and then it sends it to everybody in my little list. So super easy. How do I track my business? Oh,
sorry, real quick. When you do your emails and stuff like that, and you say you invite to a new group and you're doing that, are you doing like are you just adding into your fit community, or are you starting a brand new group every month?
No, I don't start a brand new group every month. I think that's too much. I have a fit community where where I just put people in forever. But what I've just started doing now with Morning Meltdown, I have a Morning Meltdown group. So I put my new people in this morning meltdown group. And once they finish that group, I'm going to have them graduate to the fit community. So they can, the fit community is where they just post. They're on their own. Like the morning meltdown, the first group that they're in, I kind of like do posts and check-ins. And then once they're used to that, then they're, start going on their own, right? So that's what I do for that. I use, for tracking my business, I use the business activity tracker, and I love it. It's in the back office. I love it because it has time limits on each. Yep, that one. And if you don't have a lot of time, half all of the times. If you have more time, double the time. You want to 10x everything, 10x all those times, and literally consistency every single day. What kind of people and coaches do I attract? I don't know, really. I attract people like me because I do not hold back on my stories. If you follow me on Instagram, I am just, there's not a filter. I am just me, and people love that. They love seeing you be real and share your life. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my name is Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, Pollard, P-O-L-L-A-R-D. But I attract people like me because I don't want to sell a challenge pack to every living, breathing soul on this earth. I only want people who I would want to hang out with. Like, I won't sell a challenge pack to somebody who I'm like, I don't know, she seems like a cat lady with 300 cats. Like, that's not me. I don't want to hang out with that person. So I will just be like, all right, I need to find my tribe. I'm very, very picky about who I attract to my team. You have 300 cats. That is so funny. I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. Does anyone have any questions about that? Do you want me to dive in a little more?
Or? What were the other questions I had again? Are there any more?
There are reaching out to personal trainers, and do I spend more time recreating the wheel or inviting and all of that stuff?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, briefly go into that. Like you said, you work the business for 4 hours. Okay, explain how that day goes. And then the days where maybe you only have an hour, what are you focusing on? Okay, yeah.
Okay. So when I have like 4 hours, I will plan team call, like a topic for my team call. I will focus on inviting always, every single day. You always have to be inviting. Checking into your group. Always check into your group. Working out, drinking Shakeology. Basically, in my day where I do the 2-hour chunks or whatever, I follow the bat. Like, I do everything on that bat. I'm on my stories. I do 1 post a day. Like, if I'm on my stuff, I'm following the bat. If I don't have a lot of time, I am always connecting and inviting and a post. That's it. 3 things.
Okay. So connecting, inviting, are you mostly Instagram? And if so, do you have a system? Like, do you go to other fitness people and try to follow their people? Like, how do you go about tracking your Instagram and even growing your Instagram and connecting and sending invites?
So I only work Instagram. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook at all, actually. I hate Facebook. No, but I'm only on I'm on Facebook, but I only do my business on Instagram to connect with people, I go to hashtags and I look for people that I think I'd be friends with. Like, I judge them and I I see if I'm like, hey, this girl, she looks pretty cool. I'm gonna message her. Like, I'm gonna comment on her pictures, because if you're being fake, it's not fun. Like, it's not fun when you're pretending to, like, hey, your dog is really cute, but really their dog is really ugly and you don't like that dog. Like, you don't want to be fake. It's too much work. So you got to find the people through hashtags. Say you like a TV show, Shameless. Anyone watch Shameless around here? I love Shameless. I'm from Chicago, so I'm a Shameless fan. Go to the Shameless Instagram thing, go to their followers and find people that you like and follow them and talk to them and be genuine and real with them. So that's how I do that. The fitness people you said was next.
Yeah, just like, let's say we run, because our team does consist of a lot of health professionals. Like, we have athletic trainers, physical therapists, physician's assistants, nurses. And so we might run across even like personal trainers, stuff like that. Like, how do you think we should go about approaching it? Because a lot of times I think people are just like automatically, they don't understand what a Beachbody coach is. But how would you say, do you talk to people in the fitness industry different than you would someone who's not in it?
Working in a gym and around personal trainers, I am going to say that they are very, very particular about how they train people, who they train, and their style of training. And they're very, I don't want to talk bad about them, but like, they're very hard-headed when it comes to Beachbody. If I came across, sorry, that was my Surrey. Shh. So if I come across a fitness page on Instagram where a girl is posting stuff that we post, like workouts or recipes or motivation, and has a lot of followers and is an influencer, and maybe she is a personal trainer, I will message her and I will say, look, your Instagram is awesome. You're motivating so many people, and you probably motivate so many people at the gym you work at. Have you ever considered, reaching more people virtually, as in rather than just your community? I try to tell them that you can reach so many more people via your Instagram page than you can at your gym right here in your community. Because how many people are going to come to the gym in your community? I mean, maybe it's a lot, but you can reach so many more people across the United States, Canada, and UK, and soon France, right? Like, we have the world at our fingertips. There's just so many people to help. And this girl's helping people already, so I can teach you how to build a virtual personal training business if you're interested. If you're interested, I have a sneak peek, like, come see what it's about, right? If you don't want to, then whatever. But it's worth
Okay.
trying.
That's great. Yeah, like just teaching them what they're doing now, but virtually, so you can just connect with other people. And I think if you like make it very like you're doing awesome, it's just about helping more people, maybe they'll be less like taken aback. Yeah. Okay, so let's open it up to just general Q&A. Ask questions, guys.
All right, I'm going to start because I have a question leading off of the personal trainer. I have a guy who, actually I used to babysit the kid when he was younger, who is now a personal trainer. He actually reached out to me at first, and then we've kind of been talking about Beachbody, going back and forth. I think I'm in I showed him like a video because he wanted to know what the business opportunity was. So I shared that coaching video from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And gave that to him, but now I'm almost at a stalemate with him on how to present it more as, how to make it more encompassing. I was going down the road of hey, you could use this in addition to what you have. But are you saying that that's maybe not the right way to go about it? Maybe say, hey, there's a different opportunity out here to expand your business. You can have your gym business and then go the virtual route.
Yes. And then so say if he does that, so he can still, do his gym thing, because some people like to do that. People like to train in person and one-on-one, whatever. And then have him do Beachbody on the side. And then once you're mentoring him and teaching him the ways on how to build a virtual business, maybe he'll slowly walk away from that and be like, hey, I am making so much more money doing this. I have so much more time freedom. And just he'll realize the transition that he needs to make.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you had said kind of near the end of the month, you sent out an email inviting to your next group, but then I was hearing you have the fit community and kind of have more of a launch group. So if you're technically not starting a new group each month, how are you presenting the invitation to people? What is it you're inviting to? Just your fit community in general? You said you're inviting them to your next group. So I just wondered, that's kind of how the setup we have is our fit community, and then we do a launch one. So we do that, but in between launches, how are you presenting the invitation?
So actually, I don't ever do a launch unless, this morning meltdown one, but if I get more morning meltdown people, I just add them to that group. I don't ever have a launch, and I always tell my people that my groups are always open forever for however many people. There's never a start and end date, because look, you can start anytime you want. And I have that open. It's not like I'm closing the date. Most people don't like that. But I don't know, I feel like I have more freedom in when I have a deadline. When I was a new coach and they would be like, okay, my group starts on this date. The last date to order is this date. And then all of a sudden you have one person in your group and you're like, oh, great. Now I have a group of one person. So that's why we have these groups that are always open, and whenever you want to start, every Monday is a new start date.
So I think Sarah's wondering too, okay, so your email every month that's going out, it's to the same, let's say 300 people. You're sending the exact same email every month. What's the wording? What's the difference with the wording?
Just hey, we have a new program, Morning Meltdown. It's starting blah, blah, blah. Next Monday, I'm inviting more people.
More talking about maybe the new products or promotions, and it's a way to just get conversations going.
So honestly, I'm so casual. I'm not fancy at all, and I'm just hey, it's a new month. Are you ready yet? I'm going to keep asking you until you're ready. And sometimes they don't respond, and sometimes they do, and it's just it takes the stress off things when you're not I don't use scripts. I just talk and just be real, and just whatever I'm feeling that week before the end of the month, whatever I'm feeling, whatever kind of mood I'm in. If I'm being a tough love mood, I'll write something all right, listen, it's time to get your crap together, and are you ready to do this with me? Because I have all of these things ready for you, and all you got to say is yes. Stuff like that.
So you're not really inviting them to you're not really presenting it you're inviting them to a group per se. You're just presenting it. Are you ready to be healthy and fit? Are you ready to take the next step in your being healthy? That's maybe more how you're inviting, what you're inviting to.
And I it's a community. So I have these two groups. What if they pick Morning Meltdown, they go in this group. If they pick another program, they go in this group. But it's a community. So I'm hey, you get to come in our community, and this is the support group, and ask any questions there. It's just like any other group. It just doesn't have a start and end date.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, Sarah, you've talked about this too, even with new people getting started, how inviting, I think that's where we all get stuck. It's we think we have to invite to something all the time. I know for myself too, we'll do a launch. We're super successful as a team because we're connecting, sending invites to the launch. But then when the launch is done, we're all like, what do we invite to now? Like, and we get stuck. And I think that we have to look at inviting as more as, like you said, just connecting, getting conversations going, and inviting into the community, like just talking about what our community is about, sending emails more often, connecting with people more often, and just talking about that more often. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the start and end date. I'm just like, hey, you want to join me? Today is a great day to join me, because literally any day is a great day to join me.
Okay, I like that.
Any other questions? Salma, do you have a
Yep,
question?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, I was wondering, you said you didn't like Facebook, so are you running all your groups just off of IG?
Actually, my groups are on Facebook, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't reach out to anybody on Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I had these on because my daughter was driving me nuts. So I just had a question about then your groups when you're adding people in. You mentioned you don't really do a lot in terms of posting. So when you are bringing new customers in, is there anything you do sort of to welcome them or mentor them in any way in the group, or are you doing that sort of more on the side?
So what I do is I actually send an email with their next steps. So this is going to create independence, and like for coaches, like if I want to turn them into coaches, I'll see how far they can get doing stuff by themselves without me doing it for them. So what I do is I do next steps, and I have them, first step is they watch the video of whatever workout program they're doing, the startup video, they look over the nutrition thing, they figure out all of that. I make them tell me what time they're working out, especially with morning meltdown, how many days a week are you working out? And then in one of the other steps, I have them, I have the link to the Facebook group, and I have them click it. I have them join the group, and then I have them introduce themselves so they can get over the fear of posting in a new group, because I know it's very scary, and people that you don't know, and you're starting this new thing. So I have them introduce themselves. I have them tell the group who they are, what their goals are, what program they're doing, and then everyone in the group goes and they welcome the new person, and then they feel that sense of community right then and there, and they've actually done all of that stuff themselves. I didn't have to do any of that.
Me again.
Yes.
First of all, you're awesome, just saying. But second of all, so you mentioned the sneak peeks, and you've said in the past not reinventing the wheel. So I'm curious to know what you use for your sneak peeks. Is it videos you've done? Did you use stuff from corporate, from Angie? Like, Sarah, like, what do you do for your sneak peeks?
So Salma on this call right here, she is my business buddy. So we actually share tasks of posting in groups, creating sneak peeks, and I highly suggest to get a business buddy because it literally cuts the work in half, and your clients get 2 coaches for the price of 1. But we did actually a sneak peek on Instagram. We made a 3 minutes. Oh my gosh, we got 3 minutes. We made our own sneak peek on Instagram, and we each took topics and made videos on it. And then we just keep recycling those videos and using those. If I'm going to spend time recreating the wheel, I want to make sure that I get to use it for a long, long time.
Okay, so maybe you could share a little bit more about, so the videos, you create them on Instagram, like using is it the IGTV, like that?
No,
What do
they're
you mean by that?
1 minute videos. They're very short, 1 minute videos, and they're posts. So there's 9, I think there's 9 or 12 on it. Selma, 9 or 12, 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. I think there's 9 videos. So it's like topics of what is coaching, how do you make money, who are we, what's our story, how much money do you make, whatever. And they're 1-minute videos of both of us explaining what coaching is, and they click on it in their own time, and they do it all by themselves.
On
And
Instagram.
it's
like a group on Instagram.
Page. It's a whole new page. That's our team, because we run our team together too. And it's private, so nobody can just go and see. And then like at the end, like I think if we're running it, we'll say it's like 3 days. And then at the end on the 3rd day, we'll go live and, explain everything, have like a Q&A if anyone has questions and all that.
Any other questions, guys? We probably have time for one more.
I haven't looked at the chat. Sorry. It would distract me.
Okay, so I just want to thank you. Sarah, you were awesome. Like, you already just gave us just like ideas just to think about, things that, it could be the smallest thing can make a difference. So thank you for your time. We really, really appreciate it. And in the future, if you're